ओम सदाशिवसमारंभां शंकराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्. Okay, any questions, clarifications on what we have done up to now? Okay, there is one small question here. In the first verse of the last class, I think when we were doing that Navadvare Pure Dehi, somebody was asking me whether there are any other implications of that Navadvare Dehi. As far as Vedanta is concerned, no. Navadvare is just mentioned because to indicate that we are talking about the physical body, not about the Sukshma Sharira, etc. The subtle body or causal body, the Karna Sharira, etc. No, it's just the physical body to indicate that alone. Now, if you are going into other disciplines where we are talking of energy work, etc., then that Navadvare, etc., can take other implications also, which, like for example in yoga pratyahara, what is it that you are going to close, what is it that you are going to leave open, etc., where are you going to conserve the energy, where you are going to let the energy free flow, those things will be there, okay, but that is not our concern here. So as far as we are concerned, let us take Navadvare as just the indication that it is a physical body we are talking about. Okay. There is no other connotations of it. Okay. Any other questions or clarifications? All clear? Yeah, either you respond not clear or clear.
Sorry,
Okay.
I had a doubt, but I think I'll ask after the class maybe.
Yeah.
After we have done with it.
Let us see what is the, if the doubt is connected with the class, no problem, shoot now.
Swamiji, I wanted to know, you talked about Sattvic, Rajas and Tamas. And
Talked about?
I was Sattvic, Rajas and Tamas in the
Yeah.
previous classes. That
Yeah.
is not directly related to the class, that's why I was. So I've been delving upon the thought, and I was wondering whether do we really need, I mean, why do we need tamas? Is tamas needed for creation? Sattvic and Rajas, or in the end, why not only Sattvic? Why are we bound in tamas? Why is tam?
Oh, tamas is needed because, okay, when you are looking at your mindset, you may say tamas is not needed. I'll come to that little later. Remember, Sattva, Rajas, Tamas not only represents my body, it represents the whole universe. So anything inert is tamas. Okay? So then tamas is very necessary because all the inert objects you have to make. So you can't do without tamas, number one. And since body and mind, etc., are made up of matter, Sula, Sukshma, all that we have seen, okay, therefore you cannot help some tamas coming into the mind. And that much tamas is necessary because without that tamas, you will find it very difficult to relax up, very difficult to sleep. I don't think anyone here wants to go without sleep at all. No? Yeah, I mean, you may think when you have a lot of work to do, if I didn't need sleep, it will be great. But if you ever suffer from insomnia, you will see how much that sleep means to you. You know? Yeah. Therefore, that sleep becomes very, very necessary for physical and mental rejuvenation. Rejuvenation of your pranic body, etc., sleep becomes very, very necessary. Therefore, that depends upon tamas to a great extent. Okay. The ability to relax, to say, okay, listen, okay, let go, let it be. Yeah. 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 Hmm. 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 You can, because for, I mean, it is some sort of a way of putting it, and the knowledge involved in making the cloth and the kurta both is sattva. Yeah, you can, but that's all. It becomes hair splitting a bit. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's just a paradigm. That's all. Like how you have a scientific paradigm, you have a dialectical paradigm. That's all. Nothing more than that. Okay. Then last time we had talked about what type of a life will give you this knowledge. Tad buddhyaha, tad atmanaha, tad nishta, all that committed pursuit he was talking about. Then the next verse is saying, when you gain this knowledge, when you are rooted in it, what will be your mindset like? Very nicely he has put it in the next verse. In the 18th verse, Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane Gavihastini Shuni Chaiva Shapake Cha Panditaha Samadarshinaha. Okay. Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane. A Brahmana. Now who's a Brahmana? Sattva Guna Pradhanaha Brahmanaha. That's the first and foremost definition. Okay? One who's predominantly sattvic and intellectual. Who vidya vinayena sampannaha. Very nicely put. That knowledge that is gained with humility. Only then knowledge is true. It has to be gained with humility and it has to make you humble also. A true intellectual is always humble. He doesn't become like the leftist liberal thinking that I know everything. My view is only right view. A true intellectual knows the limitation of his knowledge. Therefore, he knows he doesn't have the last word in anything. He knows that. I don't have the last word is very clear. So if it doesn't have the last word, then there will be a natural humility coming in because I know it's limited. Plus, how do you go and gain the knowledge from someone? You always have to take a humble approach to this. Even though in modern learning, a skeptical approach is encouraged, which is okay in some disciplines. That's fine to have a little bit of a skeptical approach, especially when a lot of things have to be verified, etc. That's okay, that's fine. But you will always find that learning takes place faster if there is a certain humility on the part of the student. Why? Because he doesn't know. How even to challenge the teacher, I must know something. And there should be little humility on the part of the teacher also, especially when it comes to non-Vedanta disciplines and even Vedanta, because who has the last word anyway? In Vedanta, you can have a last word. But as a Vedanta Acharya, you know that there are so many texts which you have not studied. Not that any text is going to say anything different. Okay. When I have forgotten the number of texts I have studied, but suddenly you'll find you go to some bookstall, especially where they are selling all these traditional books, old books, and you'll come across a book, you'll say, wow, I know, it's so nicely expressed here. I never seen this before. Yeah, it is true. It's true. I remember my guru discovering a book like this. Went to a shop and a small little book picked up. And he opened the first verse. Kataksha Kirana Shanta Naman Mohabdaye Namaha. He says, wow. What a Mangalacharanam, beautiful. Then he looked at the second verse. Ahamasmi sada bhami kadachinna apriya brahmevaham siddham sachidananda lakshanam. All Vedanta teaching is completed in that one verse. Some of my older students have heard that text. It is called Advaita Makaranda. Advaita Makaranda. Swamini had just taken a few classes on this. Advaita Makaranda. So you are always discovering new books that you never studied, that you never read. Therefore, even on the part of the teacher, however great he is, that I always say this to my Guru Bhais, your greatness should lie lightly on your shoulders. This is one lesson I learned very nicely from Swami Taranandagiri, who was my Guru's Vidya Guru. Okay? So after a course of studies with him, with Pujya Swamiji, I went to Swami Taranandagiri. Phenomenal scholar. A wise man to the core, phenomenal scholar. The most down-to-earth man you will ever see. In his normal conversation, in his normal this, the way he can joke, okay, the way he can talk about things. Yeah. Like if you make a mistake in reading, अरे क्या हो गया? आँख है क्या भोपला है? आँख है क्या भोपला है? You know, so you feel okay, he's not that refined. It's okay, matter of fact. You'll go for a walk in the evening and you'll have no hesitation in buying some mungfali, some peanuts from the local vendor and eating it and walking. Great scholar, okay? I said, not bad. If I want a cutting chai on the road, I can take it. President is there now. Okay, a matter of fact. That's it. So for here he is talking of a scholar. Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane. Here is one person who is a scholar and who has gained this knowledge. And whatever scholarship he has in his discipline, very nicely. Gavi in a cow, with respect to a cow now. One is a scholar, the other is a cow. Cow meaning real cow. We are not talking symbolic language. Proper cow. Hastini, an elephant. Okay. Shuni, a dog. That ikara is not to indicate feminine. It is to indicate with respect to. Okay. With respect to. Okay. Shopakaha. The one who eats the dog. Dog eaters. Okay. Dog eaters were considered in many ways a little bit of a social outcast because hygiene levels, etc., those type of stuff. Yeah. Would you like to go to Wuhan and eat a dog? No? Wuhan, I don't want to go to China. Except maybe this side, Kailasa is okay. Or North, the Wudang temple is okay. I want to go there also. Why? Problems over. Eating all this stuff, therefore Shopaka. It is kept in that context it is talked about, Shopaka. Okay. The Panditaha Samadarshinaha. This Panditaha, who is the Pandita now? The Vedanta Panditaha, who has got Panda Jnanam. Panda means for Jnanam. Who has this knowledge? That person, he says what? Samadarshinaha. He sees that which is the same in all of them. Okay. And that doesn't mean that tomorrow, okay, he will go to study from an elephant and he will go and milk the scholar. Vidya Vinaya Sampanna Brahman. No. He recognizes the difference in all of them. But he sees that which is the same in all of them. That Brahman, the reality, that pure consciousness, which is non-different from me, I see the same in all of them. Whether it's a Vidya Vinaya Sampanna Brahmana, a scholar, a cow, an elephant, a dog, or a dog eater. Dog eater, etc., were a little bit used in a derogatory sense in those days. Okay. Yeah. In all of them, Samadarshina. But naturally, when Vyavahara is concerned, you will recognize the differences as well. This is important. You have to be the same to everybody. You have to be the same to me. Who is the same to everyone? Tell me. Here is a wise person sitting down. Few students come to learn. A dog also walks in and sits. The cow is moving outside. Do you think the wise person is going to cater to the dog and the cow for his teaching? Or he is going to address the teaching to the students? He is naturally going to address the teaching to the students. So, Vyavahara is taken into account. Tell me tomorrow the wise person, okay? One hand there are terrorists, the other hand there are soldiers, okay? There is a crossfire going on. Will the wise person say, the terrorists and the soldiers, they are all the same to me? If any person, wise person says that, especially if he is a Guru Bhai of mine, I will kick him all the way to Rishikesh and back. Guaranteed. You see the oneness. That one, the terrorists are also one consciousness, the soldier is also one consciousness. And if you have the ability to help the soldier, you will help. If you can help to prevent some more bloodshed, you will do that. Otherwise, let the professionals do their job. So, in Vyavahara, all the differences will be taken into account. All of them will be taken into account in Vyavahara, in transactions. So, it is not that the wise person is blind to the differences, but the wise person sees something more which the ordinary person doesn't see. That is what? That one underlying consciousness that is there in everyone. Therefore, when you can see this, that time you should know you are a wise person. How do you know whether you gain wisdom or something? Because the previous verse was talking about how to gain it, how to live a life of commitment to the knowledge, all that he had talked about. And now what? Therefore, how are you going to live? In a manner that will give you this knowledge. You live in a manner that will give you this knowledge. Yeah. Therefore, that is it. Yeah. Clear? All of you have got it? Or not got it? Okay, clear, no? Okay. If it is clear, let's go ahead. Okay. इहैव तर्जित तैः जितः सर्गः येषे साम्यं स्थितं मनः निर्दोषं हि समं ब्रह्म तस्मात् ब्रह्मणि ते स्थिताः. How can he do that? He can do that because of this, he says. Ihaiva, here itself, asmin janmani, asmin kale, at this time itself, taihi, by them, jitaha, they have won over what? Sargaha, samsaraha. In this lifetime itself, right now, they have crossed over samsara. I crossed over samsara. Taihi jitaihi. Who yesham samye sthitam manaha. One whose mind appreciates the samyam, that which is the same in everything. The mind that appreciates that, samsara is crossed over by that person straight away. Okay? Yesham samye sthitam manaha. And he says, and what is that samyam that you are talking about? How did you make that interpretation of that being consciousness? Because Krishna himself says that in this verse. Nirdosham hi samam Brahma. Brahman is that which is the same in everything. Brahman is that which is free from any limitations. Nirdosha. Nirdosham hi samam Brahma. Tasmad Brahmani te sthitaha. Therefore what? They are all rooted. These wise people are all rooted in Brahman. Rooted in Brahman meaning in the knowledge in Brahman. Everything is rooted in Brahman anyway. What is not rooted in Brahman? The Janma Sthiti Bhanga of the whole universe, multiverse, is from Brahman alone. It's come from Brahman, sustained by Brahman, resolved into Brahman. So everything is rooted in Brahman. Then what is the difference? The difference is the wise person knows it. The otherwise don't know it. The wise know, the otherwise don't know. That's the only difference. The wise person knows that. The wise person identifies himself to the source of all creation, not just to this body and mind. Not just to this body and mind. Everyone identifies with this body and mind. Even the wise person does. No? Like if I have to teach, I have to identify with this body, this mind, see that the Zoom is turned on, and if the net is giving some problems, take care of all that thing. And as courtesy, apologize to my students that I'm sorry I got delayed because of this, because they're all wondering what's happening. Yeah. I got a few messages, I didn't respond to them because I said let me set it right first. Otherwise if I go about typing messages, another 10 minutes will go. So naturally we have to do all this. So anyone identifies with the body and mind. But the common person, his identification stops there. Doesn't know anything more. Even though he uses the word mind with respect to the body and mind, in spite of that, you don't know the pure consciousness being. Therefore, the only difference between wise and otherwise is this much only. One knows, one doesn't know. Yeah, that's all it takes. Wisdom is not revolving around years of tapas, etc. But what about the rishis doing all that tapas? That was for different things. That was energy work, etc. for different things. Okay? Yeah. It is entirely a different ball game. Those are different. Those require a lot of tapas. Yes. If you want to use energy for healing, if you want to use energy for martial arts, all that thing requires a lot of tapas. Just take it from me. Huge amount of it. But Vedanta Jnana is simple. What is the tapas necessary? Lifestyle of Karma Yoga, so mind is taken care of. In fact, people don't recognize how big tapas Karma Yoga really is. Karma Yoga is huge tapas. Yeah. Why every day with respect to everything you are having Ishvara Arpanam and Prasada Buddhi? It's a huge tapas. Other tapas you will do 2 hour practice and say बहुत tapas किया, बहुत practice किया, 2 घंटा किया. What is that 2 hours? When 18 hours a day you are living a life of Karma Yoga. Which is more? 2 hours of a practice or 18 hours of a waking day in Karma Yoga? If If you are a true karma yogi, your whole life is a tapas. Gentle tapas comparatively, compared to other tapas is gentle. Not that intense, yes, I accept it. Yeah. But still tapas all right. It is still tapas. Because 24/7 is going. Okay, 6 hours of sleep knocked off, 18 hours. Is not a tapas? When your child is throwing a tantrum to accept it as prasada, oh my God, one whack. One whack is what the child is. Yeah. If you really think the child deserves that, that is your privilege. But 24/7 karma yoga, huge tapas it is. It is not something small. Yeah, not something small at all. Yeah. Therefore, this, yeah, it's a huge tapas. Okay, and therefore he says, okay, because of that tapas, etc., knowledge is easy. Knowledge doesn't take time. All you need is a pramana. You have to be there, your mind has to be ready, and that's all. If the pramana, that the teaching is available, your mind is there, the object of knowledge, which is I, the subject, is always available. Knowledge should take place. No reason why knowledge cannot take place. Therefore, he says, the wise person, here itself, samsara is overcome. Yeah. That means asamsaritvam is Atma Surupam. Atma Surupam is asamsaritvam. Freedom from samsara is the natural state of your being. You are naturally free from all samsara. You are naturally free from it. You are never a samsari. Samsaritvam is a delusion. And then on that there are further delusions. Okay. In South India it's very common. This man will come to me. The Swamiji, I have brought my samsaram along. And I am looking around, what samsaram is he talking about? His wife. Why can't he say clearly, I have bought my patni? Yeah. Like how Gemini Ganeshan came to meet my teacher one day in Kumbakonam. Gemini Ganeshan. You know, there is an actress called Rekha, na? Her father. And with him was an elderly lady. So he prostrates to Swamiji and says, this is my dharma patni. This is my patni is enough. Why do you have to say dharma patni? Because there are adharma patnis are many. Okay. Lot of adharma patnis are there. No patni is adharma, okay? The man may be an adharmi, okay? So, samsaram is not that. Okay, yeah. Samsaram is your feeling. That way we used to have a joke in the ashram. The ashram, when we were students, we are all called brahmacharis. Though you may not be a brahmachari, but you are called a brahmachari. Okay? Because you are a student. Brahmachari means what? Brahmaniyo charanti. One who is walking the Brahma Marga is called brahmachari. Okay? Yeah. Therefore, a student you are called brahmacharis. So we used to have a joke in the ashram. When does a brahmachari becomes a samsari? First question, when does a brahmachari becomes a jnani? When the learning is complete and he gains knowledge, etc. Good. When does he become a samsari? When he runs after samsari. No, that is not samsara. Okay, understand this. Whether you are running after that or not, your Atma Swarupa is at all times free from all samsara. Your Atma Swarupa is free. Samsara is your sense of limitation, because of which you want to run after something or the other. Your sense of limitations. You are driven to do things because of your limitation. Physically, emotionally, intellectually, happiness wise, living wise, all of them. The sense of limitation. One is a practical limitation. Everyone has a practical limitation. Who doesn't have a practical limitation? Everyone has. I can't have a live class now. Even if I say, I got a private hall, okay? I have knocked down the wall between the other flat and the whole hall is available now. Come and we'll have a physical class. Half the people will be too scared to come. I know that. Plus, I don't want encouraging the infection going around. I won't do that. So, physical limitation you will always have. Emotional limitation also you will have. Even as a wise person. Enough, Baba. Now I don't want to talk to anyone more. There will be a time when you feel like that. Rare, but hota hai. Intellectual limitations you have, you may be expert in your field, what about other fields? You put me in front of a desktop now and ask me to start operating it and doing this meeting there, I'll have to start looking at kidhar jane ka email se, from email where do I have to go? On a phone I can do it very easily. But for the Vedic Wisdom Festival, I'm shifting over to a laptop. So today I'm going to contact that guy and get it and start doing it so that I will know what. Limitations. So everyone has. In your field, not a problem. Wake up from sleep, you can be okay. But it is not those limitations we are talking about. It is because of those limitations you make a self-judgment. I am limited person. Therefore, I am unhappy with what I am. Those limitations create a sense of unhappiness in me, a sense of lack, a sense of want in me. That is samsara. Really speaking, that's all that is samsara. And you can get rid of one want, one limitation. Something else will take its place. I am sure there are plenty of times in our lives when we pray to the Lord saying, God, give me this one thing. I'll never ask you for anything else. How many times have we done that? Yeah, every exam, correct. We all have done that. Why? Because one limitation will be replaced with something else. Can't avoid that. Therefore, that will go only when you discover the limitlessness of what you are. When you discover the limitlessness of what you are, then these are no more wants in that sense. It's okay. That's like when you think of a sweet you want to eat, it's not there, not there. Kya farak pada? I should be careful when I give examples like that. Because my students has been sending me sweets. And my belt is getting tighter. My Mrs. Mukherjee, Shabun, his mother, sent me a whole pack of homemade gulab jamuns. Homemade gulab jamun is like homemade coffee for a South Indian. Yeah. She's a Bengali lady. Can you imagine what homemade gulab jamun? Not gulab jamun, sorry, rasagullas. So, if it is there, you will enjoy it. If not there, theek hai, no problems. If you can make all your wants like that. I am giving simple examples of Rasgulla, Gulab Jamun, etc. because these all of you can relate to it. Especially the younger generation, because they are very disciplined, diet conscious, weight conscious, etc. I'm sure the younger generation follows the principle, you cannot be too rich or too thin. I think Raquel Welch said that. I'm not sure who said that, but one of those actresses said that. That's a different thing. We are talking about the sense of limitation that you have because of that self-judgment based on body, mind, etc. That is samsara. Therefore, that will go only when you know that you are that limitless Ananda. Once you know that limitlessness is there, it manifests in your mind as Ananda, as joy, fulfillment. Either whether you are roaring with laughter because someone cracked a joke, or you are simply sitting quietly in some place, feeling a sense of fullness within. All the way, you are free from that sense of limitation. Okay. Therefore, this is what Brahmani te sthita. When you are rooted in Brahman, this is the mindset of yourself. Your mindset, okay? Each and every one of you. There is no reason why all of you cannot get it in this lifetime itself. Yeah. 1 week after Diwali, you are sitting in a Vedanta class, is great. Yeah. Then he is giving you another verse highlighting it again. Okay? Na praharshyet priyam prapya no dvijet prapya cha priyam stira buddhihi asammudaha brahmavid brahmani sthitaha. What should I do to be rooted in Brahman? Brahmavid bhava. I'm not saying become me. No. Brahmavid bhava. Be one who knows the truth. Okay. Be one who knows the truth. Funny thing happened with me and sannyasa, because I said don't become me, I'm telling you this little story. So sometimes stories like this makes it easier. Okay. I could have taken sannyasa as long back as 1983 or something like that. When I was a young man. Okay. I could have taken, because I had finished most of my studies by that time, And Swamiji called me one day. Come. What are your plans? I said, Swamiji, no plans. My plans began and ended with this knowledge. What about the robes? Swamiji, you want me to take it now? I'll take it now. He thought, the only son of your parents. I said, yeah. Your father will want you to do his last rites. I said, yeah. Okay, we'll wait for some time and then see. So naturally, I started teaching this, that. He said, but I want you to start teaching. I said, yeah, sure. So my first class was in Rishikesh itself. Because my junior batch was there. They didn't want to go and learn from all the other scholars in Hindi and everything. Because it's a bit of a struggle. You're English educated. English is literally like your mother tongue. Almost like that it is. Yeah. For all of us city-bred people, it is like that. So, you don't want to go and learn in Hindi and then keep translating it in your mind. This is, why don't you teach us all that you have learned already? Okay, chalo. So 2 years. Then of course Swamiji sent me to Bombay to confuse all the people here. So, which I've been doing, I think I'm doing a good job. So anyway, then after my father expired, etc. He said, okay, now what is left? Last rites are over, everything is done, take the robes. So then, because I had waited and taken nice Shivratri day, Mahashivratri day, when it's really cold, okay, and you have to take a dip in the Ganga, throw away all your clothes, okay, then you quickly dry yourself, because the Guru hands you a towel here, because after throwing away everything, you are supposed to walk northwards, because north is symbolic of moksha, Kailasa. And if he calls you back, you come back, and he'll give you a set of your first clothes that you will wear. Otherwise, if he wants to get rid of you, he won't call you back. Keep walking. So anyone wants to take sannyasa from me, be careful. Okay, ladies, we don't expect them to throw all the clothes away. You go and change in a room and come back. Okay. Thoda concession is given. So, alright. Then on the Ganges bank, he's sitting. We all just had a dip and come, and we have owned what? A dhoti and an angastra, nothing more. Not even a kurta. Okay. He's sitting there. And he's giving names. There are 3-4 of us is giving names. He came to me, I was somewhere in the middle. There are 2-3 people on either side. Came to me. Ah, yes. He said, yes. Brahmavid. I have been saving that name for you. Good name, no? I said, yes, Omji, very good name. I'm shivering here. First time I shivered in the cold was at that time. I go to the Himalayas, I go to Gomukh like this, dressed like this. But that day I felt cold. I've been saving that name for you. This is probably because I waited so long to take it. You are sure I'm Brahmavid. Others, if you take too hasty, you may not be sure. Okay. Since I waited 20 years. So you're sure. Okay. Jokes about Brahmavid. Brahmavid. Brahmani Sthitaha. If you want to be rooted in Brahman, what you have to know, what you have to do is to know Brahman. Nothing to be done. No, immerse yourself in the knowledge until it becomes your own. It seeps through every cell of your mind, every cell of your body. That then you are Brahmavid. Then how do I know I am Brahmavid? That's also important. No? Guru तो बोला ठीक है, नाम दिया ना. All right. Na praharshyet priyam prapya. You are not in the 7th heaven of delight just because you got what you wanted. Of course, you'll be happy. How can you not be happy when you get what you want? But you are not so elated that you lose perspective of things. Na praharshyet priyam prapya. Okay. And no udvijayet prapya cha priyam. Nor are you down in the dumps because you didn't get what you want. This is much more than a karma yogi's mindset. This is natural. Okay. A karma yogi is cultivated. This is natural. Okay. Apriyam prapya. When you got what you don't want. The mother-in-law that you didn't want to come came. Okay. From that onwards, Apriyam. You didn't get what you want. You are unsuccessful in your effort. 1 year of effort gone. Now I don't have to say 1 year of effort gone. Not a big problem. Everyone has experienced this. 2020 was a practical write-off. So everyone knows how to take it in their stride, you know. Okay. To do what is there, you can to salvage what you can do, etc. We all have become good at it. Achha. Okay. Therefore, na udvijayet prapya cha priyam. If you have not gained what you have, if you have been failure in certain things, etc., not a problem. You won't make a self-judgment. I am a failure. No, this was not successful. My action was not successful. That is all. Okay. Sthira buddhihi. Atma jnane buddhihi stiram. Buddhi is full of this Atma jnana. Always there. Not out of sight, out of mind. अरे सैटरडे हाँ ये आत्मा क्या है वो सब देखने का. It is not like your academic studies. There are no exams. It's not like an academic study. What is definition of Atma? What is definition of samsara? No, you understand. You know, you make it your own. Okay, you make it your own. Sthira buddhiya. Asammoha. Brahmavid, Brahmani Sthitaha. This is a Brahmavid, this is a person who knows the truth. What he had talked about earlier as Sthita Prajna. Remember that term? Sthita Prajna was used. किधर है, याद है? स्थित प्रज्ञा किधर यूज किया था दैट टर्म? या सेकेंड चैप्टर, करेक्ट है? सेकेंड चैप्टर. In fact, it was Arjuna's question. Yeah. Sthita prajnasya ka bhasha samadhistasya keshava. All that. Yeah. And Krishna had given a few answers. Apuryamanam machala pratishtam samudramapa pravishanti yadvat. All those verses. The same idea is being echoed in these verses here. Okay. Yeah. Nope. Pragmatic is good to be pragmatic, definitely. Yeah. Very good to be pragmatic. Now, a Sthita Prajna is pragmatic. Okay. A Sthita Prajna, who asked this question, by the way? I can't see all of you on the screen. I have to keep shifting. I can't see all of you on the screen here. So, who is saying me? Your name, please? Sandhya. Oh, okay. So, Sthita Prajna is pragmatic, all right. But every pragmatic person is not a Sthita Prajna. Pragmatism is pragmatism. Yes, it is good to be pragmatic so that you can understand the truth better. That's important. Why? Because a pragmatic person is a person who will accept realities in the relative field. He doesn't know the absolute reality anyway to accept absolute reality. So the relative reality he can accept well. That much he can do. Which is good because a relative acceptance is there in your mind. Yeah, that is good to have. You're pragmatic. You will certain indications of pragmatism is what? You will accept a relative reality for what it is. You will do what works. You will not keep sticking to doing what doesn't work. Very important. This is one of the most important things of a pragmatic person, to do what works. Once I had taken a camp when I dealt with 10 principles of living. Maybe it's time for me to repeat that camp. Sometime, okay? Sometime I'll do that. 10 principles of living. One of them was this: do what works, don't do what doesn't work. That means what? If something is not working, don't say, I will do it again, I will do it again, I will do it again. Do it again, but do it differently, because one way has not worked. Learn and correct your mistakes and do it differently. To keep repeating the same thing and expect a different result is a sign of insanity. I don't know which philosopher said that, not me. Somebody else has said that. I'm just quoting, but I don't remember who exactly said that. Okay. Yeah. So, that is a pragmatic person. But it's good to be. And a wise person is pragmatic naturally. Though he may not seem very pragmatic to others because they are all subjective in various things. Whereas a wise person is totally pragmatic as far as the reality is concerned, because he knows the reality. Absolute reality he knows. So it's only by knowing that what is absolutely real can you be a Sthita Prajna, not by just being pragmatic. Pragmatism is good. Nobody is saying no to that. Yeah. In fact, it is very good. I'd encourage people to be pragmatic. That make you a good student. You will accept certain facts about yourself, which a non-pragmatic person may find it difficult to accept. You will accept certain limitations and say, yeah, this is there, I have to deal with that. You're pragmatic. Yeah. My mind requires certain help. I will seek that help and get it done. Pragmatic. That'll make you a good student. But being a Sthita Prajna involves lot more. The knowledge. Basically what? Brahmavid Brahmani Sitaha. That's why I spent time on that. Okay? Brahmavid eva Brahmani Sitaha. You can be called a Sthita Prajna only if you are rooted in Brahma Jnanam, not otherwise. Yeah. Not at all. Then continuing the idea, he goes way. Okay. Bahya sparshesu asaktatma vindyati atmani yas sukham sa brahma yoga yuktatma sukham akshayam bahya sparshetu, to external pleasures, asaktatma. Very important to say asakt. Understand asakta. Certain words defy translation. Okay? However good the translation is. Okay? What is asakta here? Not attached. It has its own connotations. Therefore, for the time being, I prefer to use this word. 20 years down the line, I may change that word. If that word in English, as all words in English, becomes used and abused, and it changes its meaning because of that. I would say, whose happiness is not dependent on that. Doesn't mean you're not happy if you get it. But is your happiness dependent on that external object? No. So what does that external object do? Oh, it just manifests the ananda that you already are. That you already discovered that you are. After dinner today, I'll have a nice rasgulla. Aha, maja aayega. Actually, maja aayega. So depending upon my mood, I will decide whether to eat it cold or hot. That depends on my mood at that time. How can I say now what will be my mood there? But what does it do? Are you dependent? Is your ananda dependent on that? Your pleasure is dependent on that. Yes, it's a pleasurable experience. What does it do? It is manifesting the ananda that I already am. This is true for everyone. The wise person recognizes that very clearly. Whereas the ignorant says, that made me happy. Why do you want to marry this girl? She makes me happy. What when she makes you unhappy? Believe me, there will be enough times in the relationship when she will make you unhappy. She can't make you unhappy. She is what she is. You become unhappy because your expectation is different. Vice versa also. Vice versa also. Or it will be like the woman who come and complain. This is not the man I married. He's changed so much. And the husband turns around and says, but she's always been changing me over the last 10 years. Naturally, I'll be a changed person because she has been changing me. Jokes apart. Jokes apart. The ignorant think that that has given me happiness. The wise know there's only manifesting the ananda that you are. Thoda hi difference hai, but more difference. You can't make out by watching a person. Arey, look at that sadhu. You should see my grand guru, Swami Chinmayanji. The way he used to eat kheer, paisam. Wow. You should watch him eat. It was a pleasure just to watch him eat. Kya maja se khata tha. Others also eat. But he knew well, only manifesting the ananda that I am. I am not dependent on ananda for this. I am not dependent on my ananda on this. I am ananda. That object is only manifesting. So, when an object of ananda is there, an object is there, and my ananda may be manifest. Not there, I am simply sitting ananda. चुप एकदम चुप मस्तराम होकर बैठा हो. North Indian expression, Mastaram Baba. Sitting as Mastaram. Ananda or roaring with laughter and fun, Ananda. But Ananda you are right through. Okay? Therefore, Bahya Sarsheshu Asaktatma. Why? Because Vindati Atmani Yat Sukham. That Atmananda he has discovered. Therefore, he has gained that Atmananda. Sa Brahma Yoga Yuktatma Sukham Akshayam Ashnuti. Brahma Yoga Yuktena Brahma Jnanena Yuktaha. Your yoga means jnanam, okay? Because yoga has got a lot of meanings. You have to be careful contextually what you take it. Okay? Therefore, Brahma Jnanena Yuktaha. One who's gained. Because you can't say Brahmena Yuktaha. You can't join with Brahman. You are not separate from Brahman to join Brahman. Therefore, Brahma Jnanena Yuktaha. Brahma Yoga Yukta meaning Brahma Jnanena Yuktaha. One who has gained this Brahma Jnana. Akshayam Sukham Ashnuti. He gains that the peace which has got no limits. No limits. The joy which has got no limits, he says. Limitless Ananda is yours. What is there to limit it? Nothing. Ananda means limitlessness itself. The proper translation of Ananda is limitlessness. Therefore, your Ananda is also limitless. Either manifest or unmanifest. Itne farak hai. Manifest Ananda or unmanifest Ananda. Ananda you are right through. Or sometimes maybe serious Ananda. Why you are thinking of a serious issue? Yeah, my student is going through this problem. In what way can it be made? Can be helped? You will think seriously. Or like in the last couple of months, I attended so many funerals. So many people whom I know have popped off. You go to that house where you are lost when somebody has gone. What do you say? There is no birth, there is no death. Are you going to go about grinning like a gorilla and talking? Why are you all crying? There is no birth, there is no death. He's on his onward journey. You don't say something like that. The people are in grief. They are not ready for all these things. That moment, that's not. You empathize with their grief. You let them feel that you understood their grief, that you have bonding with them in that grief. So with that empathy, you also feel the grief. How can you not feel the grief when you really empathize? You are Ananda, but you are empathizing. So Ananda can manifest itself in many ways, but it's always Ananda, in spite of the manifestations. Okay? Therefore, all this is Jnana Phalam, the result of knowledge that comes. So, good place to stop. Okay, I went 5 minutes extra because we started a bit late. Think it over. Any questions, clarification, ask me next time. And we go ahead. Okay? Om Tat Sat.